In the early 18th century, a traveler named Lemuel Gulliver set sail across the vast oceans, seeking adventure in lands far beyond the known world. But far from land, the calm sea suddenly turned violent. Dark storm clouds gathered, and Gulliver's ship was caught in a powerful and terrifying storm. As the storm raged across the dark ocean, Gulliver and the crew fought desperately to control the ship, battling wind, rain, and towering waves. The storm grew uncontrollable, and the battered ship was driven helplessly toward destruction by the raging sea. With a thunderous crash, the ship shattered against the waves, throwing Gulliver and the crew into the sea. Thrown into the raging sea, Gulliver fought desperately against the waves, struggling to stay alive. Exhausted and barely alive, Gulliver reached the shore and collapsed upon the silent sands. As the sun rose, Gulliver slowly awakened on the quiet shore, unaware he was no longer alone. To his astonishment, Gulliver saw tiny soldiers surrounding him, tying ropes across his body. Hundreds of tiny people climbed across Gulliver, fastening ropes tightly to keep the giant prisoner. When Gulliver finally looked around, he realized thousands of tiny people had captured him. Soon the Emperor himself arrived, standing boldly upon Gulliver to inspect the mysterious giant. The Emperor of Lilliput stood upon the giant, carefully observing the strange visitor. Frightened soldiers aimed their tiny spears, warning Gulliver to remain still. Raising his hand, the Emperor ordered the soldiers to lower their weapons. Slowly, Gulliver raised one finger, trying to show the Emperor he meant no harm. Seeing the peaceful gesture, the Emperor stepped closer to the giant without. Bravely, the Emperor touched the giant's finger, proving the enormous stranger meant no harm. Carefully, Gulliver lowered his hand, showing the tiny king he meant no harm. The Emperor read his royal command, declaring the giant would now serve the kingdom. Understanding the decree, Gulliver bowed his head, peacefully accepting the Emperor's command. Bound but unharmed, Gulliver was carried slowly toward the great city of Lilliput. Crowds filled the streets as the giant Gulliver entered the capital of Lilliput. Inside the great hall, the giant Gulliver was chained while the people watched in awe. Thousands brought food and drink, struggling to satisfy the hunger of the giant Gulliver. Inside the royal council, ministers debated what should be done with the giant Gulliver. The Emperor declared strict laws, allowing Gulliver to live only under royal command. Gulliver raised his hand and solemnly swore to obey the laws of Lilliput. After his oath, the chains were loosened, granting Gulliver limited freedom in Lilliput. For the first time, Gulliver walked through Lilliput as thousands watched in amazement. Soon, Gulliver faced the enemy fleet, standing alone between Lilliput and war. With ropes and hooks prepared, Gulliver planned to capture the enemy fleet. With ropes and hooks in hand, Gulliver waded into the sea toward the enemy fleet. With enormous strength, Gulliver fastened the iron hooks, binding the enemy ships together. With mighty strength, Gulliver pulled the captured fleet toward the shores of Lilliput. The people of Lilliput watched in awe as Gulliver delivered. The king of Lilliput honored Gulliver as the great. But in the royal court, jealous ministers secretly began plotting against Gulliver. Soon, jealous ministers accused Gulliver of becoming too powerful for the kingdom. In the royal court, ministers fiercely debated the fate of the giant Gulliver. At last, the council proposed a cruel punishment for the giant hero Gulliver. That night, a loyal friend secretly warned Gulliver about the dangerous plot against him. Under the cover of night, Gulliver quietly prepared for his escape from Lilliput. Before sunrise, Gulliver quietly left Lilliput, sailing away from the kingdom he had saved. Gulliver left the land of Lilliput behind, carrying with him a tale the world would never forget. Before leaving, Gulliver knelt in gratitude, bidding farewell to the tiny kingdom of Lilliput. At last, Gulliver saw a small boat and prepared to sail away from the land of Lilliput. With careful hands, Gulliver prepared the small boat that would carry him away from Lilliput. As the sun set, Gulliver began his journey, leaving the tiny kingdom of Lilliput behind. And so, Gulliver sailed into the horizon, leaving behind the remarkable land of Lilliput. Far across the endless sea, Gulliver spotted a distant ship. Hope at last. From the deck of a passing ship, sailors suddenly spotted Gulliver's lonely boat at sea. At last, the great ship approached, and Gulliver knew his long journey was finally over. Strong hands pulled Gulliver aboard, ending his incredible journey from the land of Lilliput. Kind sailors welcomed Gulliver aboard, offering food, warmth, and safety at last. As the sun set over the sea, Gulliver told the sailors the unbelievable tale of the tiny kingdom he had left behind. At last, land appeared on the horizon. Gulliver knew his long and extraordinary journey was finally coming to an end. The ship entered the harbor, and Gulliver's long and extraordinary journey was finally over. And so Gulliver returned to the world of ordinary men, carrying the memory of a most extraordinary land. Thus ended Gulliver's strange adventure in the land of tiny people, a journey he would remember for the rest of his life. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to share it with the next generation, children who may not yet have discovered this wonderful classic.